What happened there?
You are juggling knobs like crazy.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
Jim. So, yeah. So,
Hello.
Hey, we'll start all over
Yeah,
again.
I think that's a good idea.
I'll go home, go back to bed. And,
Yeah, I think you should, Jim.
yeah.
I'll take over for you.
That's
you
great.
go.
Yeah. That'd be good.
I go home, take off my girdle, have a good cry. I'll be fine.
Well, there goes my whole introduction to the show. Yeah.
You want it again?
We'll start all. Wait
a minute.
All right. We're going to start all over.
From
Take
our
two.
studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Do reviews influence how you purchase items online, check into a hotel, or eat at a restaurant? We'll chat about how reviews can influence us and the impact they can have on business. Computer and smartphone sales are down, which is why prices are going up. Will this trend continue? And yes, our devices are also spying on us. Find out how they are spying on us and what you can do to put an end to this and protect yourself. So at the control panel, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
Hello.
You're feeling less than extraordinaire right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I need another cup of coffee.
Have we ever done a take two before? I don't think so.
Once or twice,
okay.
I think, in the long, long distant past.
Thought that was funny that you
Back
did it
when
all
I was
over
younger
again.
and... Well,
That was good. That's good.
I
At
was
the other
young and
microphone, Rockin Dave Blair. How you doing, man?
Hey, great, thank you. We're just talking about how nice it is. No more snow.
No, we got one
well,
day
they're
left.
talking about a wintry mix tomorrow night.
One day left.
No, I'm coming against that.
Oh, yeah?
okay.
Yeah.
You're just going to say no to it? And that's
I'm just
that?
going to say no, and if it comes, I'm leaving.
It's amazing.
He's Tutankhamun, the king of denial.
So Saturday was National Gardening Day.
Yeah.
And it was so funny watching all the feed across the country, right? Like, most people were posting their blizzard warnings and their 10 inches of snowfall, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, we got the Garden
would
Expo this weekend,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. It is really, you think about global warming and how that has turned around in such a short period of time. I'm sure it hasn't. I'm just saying that,
Well, I was at Menards. I saw people buying plants and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They were getting ready,
people
you know.
are excited to do it. It's just that the weather isn't deciding to cooperate this year. So
That's right.
I mean, most people around here, you don't put all your stuff in this time of year in North Dakota, but you can get some radishes in and you can get some other, things in to get started. So, and people are anxious, there's no doubt. So yeah, we're being spied on. Did you know that?
Yeah, Big Brother across the pond.
Yeah, so it's, we all talk about, what the Facebook stuff that's been going on and all that good stuff. But, it's coming at us from all different directions. It really is. And probably, and we talk about this a lot on this show, it's not a lot of times about, the software or whatever, although we have to be concerned about that. But the hardware really comes into play a lot, too. So there's been a couple of cell phones that have basically either had warnings attached to them from the U.S. government as of late, or are actually being banned from sale now in the United States due to spying.
I wonder if that's my phone, LG.
Not LG.
Oh,
you're okay with LG.
I want to get rid of it anyway.
Right now. So I've always had great luck with LG, by the way. So but your story has just been amazing. What kind of phone do you have, Jim?
Oh, I have a Droid.
Right, but what brand do you have? Do you remember?
I'll have to. I think it's a Samsung.
Samsung,
I think it's
okay.
an LG, like Dave said.
Okay. So I have a Samsung. So
okay.
So yeah, and but these, let's see. So the couple of them. So ZTE, and they are a huge company.
Yeah.
But they have violated sanctions in Iran and North Korea. So because of that, our government is now not allowing them to import their products into this country anymore for that ban, or because they violated those sanctions on sending products to those countries, right? So now they are being banned to send products into this country. In addition, U.S. companies that create components for them are not allowed to send components to them anymore. So 25% of that phone from ZTE is manufactured in the United States, send those components to China, and then they produce them. And this is what I found very interesting. The news arrives among fears of looming trade war between the U.S. and China. So the trade war is just as much about the security of our country as it is about the monetary value of it. I mean, I don't think this gets talked about enough. But it really is. And it goes on to say, ZTE has also been reportedly name-checked by U.S. intelligence officials over spying concerns along with fellow Chinese smartphone maker Huawei. Huawei. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yep.
And they're a big company too, actually. I just don't know how to pronounce it, but I know I've actually owned a couple of their phones.
Yeah.
Which is because I've played with them or whatever just to see how they worked. And what's interesting about this is that 700 million. Okay, I'll finish that out. ZTE has managed to make more inroads with U.S. carriers over the years, regularly showing up around 4th place in the market share. So this is a 4th place in the market share as far as products go. And their phones basically have malware installed in them that will transmit your contacts, your text messages, everything you go to online, anything you do, pictures, all of that stuff. And it goes to a server in China. That's where all of this stuff goes to. So yeah. Basically, and this is just a buyer beware type of scenario, right? I mean, just don't buy these products if you know they're. And I hate to do this. I mean, I think China has done a lot of good over the years as far as products go, but the same thing is true with DJI drones. All that stuff that you take, all those videos you take with the drone, if you use their software, those images, those videos go to a server in China.
So, what do we tell the people that own these ZTE phones right now?
So there are 700 million of them in the United States.
Yeah.
700 million. Hidden in a benign support app, the pre-installed third-party software would secretly send full text messages, contact lists, call history, location data, and other sensitive information to a server in Shanghai every 72 hours. So what happens every 72 hours, your phone lights up, sends all that information you've done over the past 72 hours to that server in Shanghai.
Lovely.
Wow.
So there you go. So
I need a drink.
Yeah. So after the break, I know we're pulling up on it here, but we'll talk about maybe what you can do to prevent this or help yourself out. Generally speaking, I would say that you probably don't want to buy budget type phones.
That's a good idea, anyway, for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons, but that's probably the biggest thing is that, make sure that they're a company that you can trust. And if you don't know about the company, maybe before you buy from them,
do some research.
Yeah, do some research.
Do your homework.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably it. So, all right, everybody, after the break, we will continue the conversation on if you're being spied on or not. And we're going to get into a little bit about reviews. Are they good for business? Are they good for you?
Right now, it's 32.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank everybody who listens to this program across the country and around the world on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. If it's Tech, it's here. We're also on the Roku, iTunes, Tuned In. Wow. Apple TV. We're all over the place, actually. And you can also get the app, radiopup.com, and catch us, and that's the Town Square app. And then also SuperTalk 1270 now
right,
has
we have an
our
app.
own
You can
app
listen
as well.
to the station anytime you want.
Yeah, so fantastic. All kinds of places that you can catch it now or live or a little bit later on if you like.
Right.
So we're talking a little bit about the Chinese and how they're spying on us. And I shouldn't say just the Chinese. Basically any country who produces electronics.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, we're going to talk about the Asian countries because they are proficient in this area. I mean, I don't hear a lot of electronics that we buy from Switzerland outside of watches or Germany or what have you. So, right? I mean, am I wrong in that area?
Yeah,
so
I think they've been leading kind of the charge for years, whether it's TVs, any kind of electronics, definitely phones. You know, it's amazing how many phones, like you said, that these guys, ZTE, have out there.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. And they are a lower cost item. I mean, I know for a fact, I'm just thinking about it right now, I bought 2 ZTE tablets at Office Superstore here about 6 or 8 months ago to test some of our new apps that we're developing coming out. And as I'm reading this now, I'm thinking that was really stupid on my part to do that, because everything that I've done on that has been sent to a server in Shanghai. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
So they're cool looking, though. They're nice gold covered, and they look nice. But
well, it was amazing when we were at CES. You know, all the phones out there. I'm sure that I probably walked by their booth as well.
Oh, sure.
You know, and you know, just the amount of other companies that are trying to get into that space.
I think the thing you have to think about, and I've thought a lot about this actually, is that if the price on it is pretty reasonable, and you can go across the board, right? You can talk about smart devices, you can talk about drones. You know, if the drone you're buying is half the price or 2/3 the price of the exact, basically the same thing that you can buy from another company, why is it so different? And the reason for it is that the Chinese government is subsidizing.
You bet.
And their spy program, they probably don't even have to have as many, you know, so-called spies anymore, because we're spying for them. We're doing it. We are doing their job.
Yep.
Because we buy these low-cost products, and this information, you know, our location, whereabouts, and all they have to do is find some high-ranking political official that's using one of their products, or somebody with that's the president of, or the, you know, the CEO of a major corporation, and they start. This is what they do. This is how it works now. So. It's kind of a scary thing.
I don't think we're going to see the end of this either. Even with the tariffs that are being proposed right now, you know, through Trump's administration, you know, what's that going to lead to? But I think this goes back, you know, with doing the FBI have been investigating them for years.
Yep.
And so, it's a scary It's a scary world out there. That's for sure.
You know, and you think about even like refrigerators and toasters and all this other stuff, things that you would think are benign in your home, right? Well, they're now becoming smart devices. You know, they hook up to the internet.
Yeah.
And if it hooks up to the internet, you need to be concerned about the components in that refrigerator, because it's cool to say, hey, I need to add milk to my buy list. You know, when I go to the grocery store. That's a cool feature, right?
Right.
But if they're tracking all of this stuff all the time, other governments are. I don't know how cool that is. So.
And think about all the cameras people have in their homes too, and how you can find out, hey, they're not home.
I know. It just goes on and on and on. So a person really has to be diligent about this stuff, because this is by far the biggest threat to home privacy that we've ever had. You know, as well. So there's just all kinds of stuff that's going on with this. So just be careful when you're buying stuff. Question when you buy, when again, and the reason I bought those 2 tablets, it was price.
Right.
I wanted to get something cheap so I could just experiment with. That's all I needed to do with this thing. And now I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm just bought into this whole thing and didn't even realize it myself. So, you know, I'd have been better off to probably spend the 20 or 30 extra bucks and get it from a reliable source as opposed to a known name brand, I guess you could say. So, yeah.
But we still don't know, too, of even some of the credible companies out there, how things are in protection. And that's kind of the key in all of this is, hey, how do we protect ourselves?
Right. I think, though, with credible companies, they will take the time to protect. I mean, they can be, you know, they can certainly have some malware put on their stuff or whatever, too, without them knowing about it, right? It happens all the time. But they will take steps. They'll do an update or whatever. The companies that we're talking about don't care.
Right.
They are there just to harvest your information, you know. So, and people who don't understand this, like myself, obviously, when I went and bought these devices, then, you know, we're unsuspecting of this, and you just buy the devices, and away you go. So.
Well, isn't there some kind of consumer electronics background check and stuff that they could do out there as well?
So there's more and more of that, but it's not in the smart devices space yet. Although you're starting to see that our government's starting to crack down on some of this stuff. But if you're a component manufacturer for an airplane, for example, right? You can't be a big company that subcontracts, and then those subcontractors subcontract stuff out there now has to be a paperwork trail all the way down, and it cannot be from countries anymore that make things like what we're talking about here. So you have to be vetted even on the subcontractor level and the whole process, because they're concerned about this. They're concerned about some government or whatever taking over our fleet of planes and things like that. So they have to be very diligent about those type of things. So there's a lot of things that are in place now to stop that from happening.
I'm kind of curious. I wonder how many smartphones are made in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Probably
almost none.
Would this be an opportunity for an entrepreneur to saying, hey, I'm going to get into that space?
I think it would be a fantastic. I talk about drones in the same space, right? I mean, our drone companies should be manufacturing their stuff here. And I think there are enough people out there like you and me that would pay the little bit extra to make sure that we're secure. I really do. I think people are fed up with this and would do that. I see Jim's already doing some research on this right now.
I think this is a great opportunity to look at what that space out there. I mean, I don't think there's even that many U.S.-made TVs.
No, they're not. And you could do the thing, where you could even put an inspected by on there. Every component inspected by a U.S. engineer or something along those lines, so to give you a better sense of security with these things. I agree with you. I think it's a huge opportunity, actually.
And Trump's all about, made in America, make America great again.
Sure.
So
maybe it's
this is a great space.
If I'm reading this correctly, there are two companies, Apple and Motorola, that do manufacture domestically.
Okay.
Smartphones and iPhones.
But most of Apple's products are made in China.
I'm sure.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And in fact, but they control, and this could be the way that it's done too. They control those facilities. They go in and it's their people that control that facility. And because I think it was an iPhone 7 when it came out, bought one immediately. I think it was Nick that bought one. And it came in that day, and you could track it from China to Anchorage, Alaska, and then it was flown here. The day that came out in the United States is the day that he got his phone in the mail. It was
like Japan having that Toyota plant in Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I worked for this company in Australia that had manufacturing in China, and they came in just like that, and they put all their support team from Australia in that plant.
Right.
So they tracked everything. They were using Chinese labor, which helped reduce the cost.
Right.
So
there's ways it can be done.
There probably is ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So computers and smartphones, their sales are declining, which is, I think, kind of surprising. So computers especially, 14 quarters in a row now that the sales have been declining. So they've declined 1.4% from the same period last year. So from 2018, the first quarter of 2018, PC shipments totaled 61.7 million worldwide, decline of 1.4% from the same period last year. And what's interesting about this is that these manufacturers need to make those margins, right? So because the volume is dropping, means our prices are going up.
Yep.
Because of it.
Well, think about it too. I mean, when's the last time you got a new computer?
Well, I just recently bought one, but the churn rate, I guess you could say, on computers, I think, isn't as like it used to be. I mean, most of the computers in my office are probably 5 to 10 years old now.
Well, and they last a lot longer.
They last longer, and they're just. You don't need to buy them as often because the advances in them, I mean, there's still great advances going on, right? But to me, it's always about the type test. That's to me. If you can type and the computer keeps up with your typing skill, do you need something that's faster? So I think for most people, that's probably true. Now, if you're doing heavy video work and things like that, totally different scenario.
Right.
Yeah. But for desktop publishers and things like that, that's the key. And they've been that fast for years. So you really don't need to know more. After the break, everybody, we're going to get into reviews, Yelp, and all those kinds of things, and if they're impacting business.
Right now, it's 32.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at SuperTalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So, Jim, do you ever take the advice of somebody who's reviewed like a hotel or a restaurant or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
and decide to stay there, eat there, or not decide to stay there. Really?
Yeah, I've taken advice like that. You go to you're planning to go to a certain city.
Okay.
And you say, where should I go? Where should I stay away from?
Okay.
Sure. I'll listen to advice.
So do you ever look online though and look at reviews of what people have done, like when you're buying a product like from Amazon or something?
It's been a while. I know I've done it.
Okay.
Maybe if I'm buying a book, I'll look up some of the reviews for the book or the movie.
Does that impact you?
Yes.
So if the critics...
I may take it into consideration, sure.
So do you usually listen to critics, or do you usually listen to, what people think about a movie?
Well, you have to kind of try to second-guess them a little bit and try to get inside their head and think in terms of, is this somebody who thinks like I do? And if they like it, I would like it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Exactly. That's the way I would look at it, too.
But you've gone to critically acclaimed movies, and you're like, are you kidding me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious.
Absolutely.
So how about you, Dave? I mean, do you read reviews online, and does that impact your buying decisions?
Not really. I just, unless it's maybe a big ticket item, I might look at. In fact, what is it called? What's the magazine?
Consumer Reports.
Yeah, I was looking at one.
I like Consumer Reports.
I was looking at one the other day, and just going through all of that, and they're making comparisons. But a lot of times, I'll just ask somebody, "Hey, what kind of luck have you had?" Or if I'm going to a different town, "Hey, what hotel have you stayed at? That's pretty good." So some restaurants that maybe you've gone to?
So you still go just like Jim. You kind of are asking other people as opposed to doing online stuff.
Exactly.
Do you think it's an age thing? I mean, we're all in that kind of older generation space. Not old generation, but older.
But, man, I mean, with the electronic devices right now, you just send it out and saying, hey, I'm going to New York, and have any of you guys experienced a restaurant out there? And, I know that person. I'll trust them.
So that's interesting. So you actually do like a Facebook social media thing, right? Jim, do you do the same thing too? Do you hop on social media and then ask if you're going to Philadelphia or something? I guess you're from that area, but if you're going someplace. But is that how you solicit your advice now, or do you just talk to people face to face?
I just generally talk to people I know on social media.
Okay. Yeah. So, but you are using the social media platform.
Yes, primarily, yeah.
Because it's just easy to connect with people.
Yeah, right. Very easy.
Okay. Interesting. That's interesting. So, I'm kind of the other way. I especially with hotel stays, I really, really read through reviews because as you know, I travel a lot now, and a lot of times if I'm unfamiliar with an area, I will read that review. And I mean, I remember this one. And this is the thing about reviews. You just don't know even with the values that when you talk to people directly, right? This one person had, I was looking at a review for like Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was there a couple months ago. And this ranking of 1 to 5 on Orbitz, right? And this person gave this hotel a 4. And I'm like, wow, it's a pretty reasonable hotel. They got a bunch of rankings of 4. I start reading through them. And the one review was rats were observed.
Oh, yeah.
I think I told you about this, right?
Right.
How do you get a rating of 4 with rats being observed?
Maybe that was the number of rats he saw.
It was just like...
4, as in 4 rats. I saw 4 rats.
Yeah, really. The last hotel I stayed at, there was like 10.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this one a ranking of 4, right? Right. So I didn't. You just have to kind of read through these and like how do you in the United States give a ranking of anything above a 1 to a hotel that's got rats in it? I just didn't understand
on any survey I very give the highest ranking.
Okay.
I mean I just think unless it's superb accommodations or service or something like that. I think 4 would be the highest I'd give a hotel.
Okay.
Even if they had 4 rats and bed bugs.
But I will say though, it does make a big difference, and I will. I remember being in Cocoa Beach last year, and there was this little restaurant. We were all looking for a place to eat, right? And we would have never ever found this place, but I'm looking at like Yelp or something and reading through there, and all the locals were raving about this pizza joint. I'm like, this is just a pizza joint. What are you talking about? Well, we go there. It was by far one of the best meals we've ever experienced, and it was just this local dive type of place, but the food was amazing. The service was unbelievable. So and it was reasonable. That was the thing that kind of threw us off, is that it was I think it only averaged like maybe $5 or $6 a person to eat there.
Well, all over Texas and California, the Southwest in general, you've got these little hole-in-the-wall Mexican places where they serve tacos, I swear, are the food of the gods.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
And that's the cool thing about these review services, right, is that you can find these things that you wouldn't normally find.
So that's what happened. You didn't hear from a local person at all.
No.
You just went on the review.
I did.
Well, one thing that's interesting when you talk about reviews is, the person that's given that review and if they've traveled a lot, and or if it's maybe their first or second experience. Let me tell you, I've been to India 3 times, and the reviews over there would be a lot different than the reviews here.
I'm sure. That's true.
Yeah.
And that would be the same thing about the rats in a hotel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a foreigner and you're accustomed to rats being around you, maybe it's not a big deal to them. I don't know. I mean, it would be no different than mosquitoes are to us here, because we have mosquitoes here all the time.
But why would they even put that in there? I
just thought it was hilarious.
And here's the thing: is do the hotels they can't omit that?
No, but they can combat that, and that's the thing that we kind of want to get to, right? So there's actually, I have a list here of 5 reasons that people use reviews, and then and it's the conversion process for businesses, right? So reason 1, customers convert when they see reviews. So I'm giving you a great example about this restaurant. I read the review and then converted. So a company called iPerceptions found 63% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase from a site that has customer reviews. Now, they're not saying that they're positive customer reviews. They're just saying that if they have customer reviews. To put the final statistics nailed in the coffin of the benefits of customer services, Bazaar Voice's conversion index found site visitors who interact with both reviews as well as customer reviews and answers are 105% more likely to purchase while visiting, and spend 11% more than visitors who didn't interact with user-generated content. So you get more sales, and you get a higher, even those people who buy from you buy more.
Yeah.
So I want to know did you give them a review?
I didn't.
Well, shame on you.
I don't actually give a lot of reviews.
Or don't you like doing that?
I give some reviews. And I think this is where it gets really, really tricky, right? I give reviews when I have terrible service. You're angry, right? And that's when you kind of lash out and you're like, are you kidding me? You charged me $86 for a rare steak that I ordered well done, and you didn't even correct the issue. I mean, those are the things that I'll do, right?
Well, think about the following you have to make an impact out there, a positive one or a negative one. I'd want Marlo to give me a review, but not a bad one. Okay, Marlo, stay away from that.
So, on occasion, so we had an issue with a refrigerator a couple of years ago from a local retailer. And I mean, it was a big box store, I should say, but it was somebody that's local here, right? And I don't want to get into all the details, but after basically feeling like we were hosed over in the whole deal, right? That's really a Canadian term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back to the 80s. That was Doug McKenzie, right? The McKenzie brothers?
Yeah.
Take off, man.
Yeah.
But so I've never really done this before, but we did post something on Twitter about the terrible experience that we had, right?
Right.
And they went out of their way to make it up to us in a big, big way. So if you have terrible experiences, you can actually go to social media and post those. And the companies that value this will go in and try to make it correct with you, right? And this is the thing. Now we talk about this to our friends and family about how they turned this bad experience into a great experience.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that because they took care of it for us, that they probably got more business because of it.
Well, it's interesting because of the issues I've been having with my phone. So I call LG up directly and complain, and they're going, well, we can't really do anything because you bought it from, your
right, your local vendor.
My
Yep.
local vendor, which was Verizon.
Right.
I haven't went in to talk to them yet, too, to just saying, but I said I can put a lot of bad vibes out there, which I'm
You're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question. What's to stop you from scamming some of these companies if they're known to do that kind of thing? If you just find all these companies that are known for being generous to people and just put down that you had a really bad experience there.
Jim, it happens all the time.
It doesn't.
And then, coming from the other side of it as a business owner that does business online, we deal with this all the time. All the time. People will do they want to put up with me saying, hey, I didn't get my calendar, so will you send a couple more? Well, is it worth our time to have them go through all those steps to do that, or do we just send a couple more calendars?
Well, I would say that if I'm going to do that, you give us a positive review.
So that would be one way to do that.
Just saying, hey, I've gone out of my way to help you out.
Right.
Now you have to kind of just return the favor and saying, yes, you guys did what you said you were going to do.
Yeah. But the fact that you brought that up, Jim, is the reason why they're, when you go to return something or whatever, they have all these protocols now, all these stipulations that you have to go
Paperwork,
through,
hoops,
because they want to make sure that they're not being scammed, especially if it's big ticket items. That costs the company a lot of money.
This steak was terrible. You're going to give me a free meal, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, after the break,
I saw the rats.
Only 4 of them though. So we'll be back after the break, everybody.
Right now it's 36.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
That doesn't mean that you can follow me everywhere I go.
Oh, okay. That would be kind of creepy.
I know, Jim, you were excited there for a second,
no.
but yes, just on social media you can do that.
Oh, but I know where you're going this week. I'm not going to tell you guys.
Again, the creepy thing falls in. So we're talking a little bit about opinions online, doing reviews, that type of thing, and how they benefit both the consumer and the business.
Yeah.
And the first thing we're talking about was, customers actually convert more when they see reviews online about a business, good or bad. So I guess the point that we're getting at here is that by giving someone a bad review can help the business, actually, because first of all, if I got a bad review, I want to find out why I'm getting a bad review as a business owner, right? So that's the first thing. So you can improve services.
Oh, yeah.
By finding out, because a lot of times if even on small companies, a lot of times you don't touch the whole process. I mean, we have a computer repair shop, and we've had a couple instances over the last couple of years where we've had people who weren't happy with our service. And they come on and they state something online about it. And I'm the first person to reach out and say, tell me what happened. Let's see if we can figure this thing out. And we try to make it good.
Well, there's the old saying in the media business: any promotions, any publicity is a good publicity.
Right. Good or bad. Yeah, absolutely. So,
well, and you think about when you're at a restaurant now, a lot of times they'll give you a survey card. And I feel compelled somewhat to fill that out. I mean, because they're trying to get some information, even if it's I had good service, bad service, medium service. Try to fill that out, as long as it doesn't take a lot of time. 4 or 5 questions, and
So I have I just bought a new car not too long ago, and every time I go in there, after the sale of the car, and then I've had a couple oil changes since, they're always after me about making sure that I post either a 9 or a 10 on their review. Anything less than the 9 is a fail for me. That's the words that they use all the time. I kind of get irritated by this because it's like they're pressuring me to make sure that I leave a 9 or a 10, and if I don't leave a 9 or a 10, if I don't feel like the service is up to that par, then I should tell you now. But I don't know because I'm not even in my car yet. Did you leave my car filthy? After you were supposed to clean it, is it still not clean? So I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm one of those people that like to be truthful when I'm trying to do reviews, and I don't like being coerced to doing, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm the same way. I try to be fair, but I try to be honest.
Right, exactly.
Well, like I said, man, I very seldom would give anybody a 10.
Right. You might
I'm
give a 9.
always trying
though.
to find that 10, but
Right.
but they're gonna. I mean, 7 and 8 to me is pretty high
good.
mark.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty
That
good.
might not be the same for you or for Jim.
It's like a
Right.
B plus average.
So how
which
would
is
you
nothing to sneeze
have
at.
you had this scenario before where they ask you, they tell you that if they don't get a 9 or a 10, that it's a fail to them?
No, I haven't. But
How-
man, I would give them a 4 right away
Because
don't
of that.
Exactly. And that's not you to tell me what my review should be or what my point should be.
But if by them telling you this in front of giving the review, are they is that a way for them to ask or say, right now, if you're not going to give me your 9 or a 10, is there something I can do to fix this before you give me a review? I mean, they're taking a proactive stance on this. So I understand the business side of that. I just don't know if they're turning people off or not by doing
What's
this.
the lowest you would ever rank somebody?
Well,
There are people who say they would never give below a certain number.
Well, I've had instances where I would go to, if the lowest ranking is a 1, I would give a 1.
Yeah, that bad. I mean, how bad would it have to be?
It would have to be pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't
I've had
remember
some.
even giving ever a 1. I would say 3 is probably my lowest and 8 might be my highest if we're using 1 to 10.
I've had some service issues with my with travel that I would give a 1 to. Yeah, absolutely. So, so there's a couple of customer reviews will benefit SEO. So if you're a business, you want people to review you because it actually helps you with your search engine optimization of your website. So that's interesting. More people referring to you, and Google, Bing, those search engines love that impact that those reviews will give you, right? So that's what they're interested with there. Review content will increase click-through rates. So it kind of goes back into the same space. And people do read reviews. Whether the three of us do or not is irrelevant. I guess I'm one of those for travel that I do, and for sometimes for restaurants and that type of thing I will, right? But it's sticky as well. You start reading reviews of product, and people stay on your website longer. You can discover other things about their products and things. So these are good things for companies to do. Bad reviews can be good reviews. Many small to medium-sized businesses fear bad reviews. I was probably in that place, posting comments. But you shouldn't fear that. Another amazing statistic from Revo found that bad reviews can increase conversion by 67%. And it's all about how you handle the bad review.
Right.
We're sorry you had this experience. Love to make this better. How can we make that happen for you, right? I mean, those are some words that you could use, and the people who are reading that review are like, oh my goodness, these bad things happen. They always happen in business, right? Always will. So what the customer or what the company does with that customer after the sale, after the fact, can have a big impact on how future sales help.
Well, and I remember working for the engineering company, and, a lot of times we might lose a client and not know why. And if we would have had some proactive out there and talking to them about the last job we did, were you happy with it or not? And if they said no, we could correct it. But if they don't say anything and they leave, it's like, wow, what happened?
Right.
Try to find that out. The interesting thing about reviews too is, are there incentive programs that come with a review? Do you get a coupon, or do you get some kind of incentive that they send to you?
So some of these review platforms or some of these companies do that.
Yep.
And again, I wouldn't participate personally. Wouldn't participate in that, but I understand if somebody wants to get a free soda or an ice cream cone or something that they would do that, right?
And look, there are just going to be cases where people just don't like what you do. They just don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
They have their own reasons.
Yep.
I'll give you a great example from my own experience. I despise traveling on Southwest Airlines. To me, Southwest Airlines is the absolute rock-bottom travel experience. I can't stand it. I can't stand their attitude. I can't stand the joking, the stupid live of the improv crap they pull at the beginning of the flight. It's like a damn stinky flying bus.
Okay.
Wow.
I would gladly pay a little more not to have to fly on Southwest.
Aren't
Yeah,
you
they
glad
got
we don't
messages
have
about
Southwest here? I guess,
Yeah.
Jim, you don't
Obviously,
have to.
There are not a lot of people who would agree with me there.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Well, what can I say?
Well, and I think they are a low-cost fare, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of
Well, so like I say, it's a flying jitney,
right,
basically,
right,
a flying
right,
bus.
Right.
They're not even good enough to be a flying bus. They're a flying jitney.
So
is a jitney worse than a bus?
I'm assuming you've had a bad experience or two with them.
Well, like I say, it's all the things that other people say they like about them that I don't like.
Right.
I just don't like that. There are certain aspects of the flying experience that I don't like, and I get all of them from Southwest.
So, but it is interesting, right? I mean, this is where that 80-20 rule applies again, right? You're in that 20% that just don't want to have anything
now,
to
in
do
fairness
with
to
that company.
Southwest, they would be wasting their time trying to get me to like what they do. I'm not going to do it.
Yep, but you could make the same claim for restaurants and everything else. There's a reason why we all have our favorite places, and it's not such a favorite place for you or what have you.
And there are places we wouldn't be caught dead at.
Yeah,
we
exactly
just don't
right.
like the food.
That's right, and or the atmosphere that they have or what have you.
And you think about the experiences of a car that you had. Are you going to buy, if it's a bad experience, are you going to buy that same car again? Probably not.
Right, exactly.
Washer, dryer.
Goes right down the thing,
You go, exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is that we do have the power now as an individual to review these things, to make comments online, on Facebook, whatever. And companies who take this stuff seriously will get back to you. They really will.
And the interesting thing is when we talk about electronic devices, maybe there's only 3 or 4, but they change the name, so you've got 15 different names for the same phone, and it's manufactured by the same company.
Right.
Why is one less than the other one? I mean, it's like tires.
Yeah.
I mean, we only have a few tire manufacturers in the world,
right.
And they just change the name.
Yeah, it's just all about the marketing piece of it too. So yeah. So the last reason I guess I have on here is you will be reviewed if you're a business, and you shouldn't fear this. You should just embrace it and do what you can. Deal with Jim and because he doesn't like Southwest. And I mean, if you've had to fly Southwest and you didn't like it, there's nothing wrong with you posting the review saying that you didn't like it.
Well, it's like a radio station. If you don't like country western music, you're not going to listen to the station.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, Jim, if I offered you a free ticket anywhere in the world on Southwest, would you take it?
Sure.
Okay.
There
we go. That's what I wanted.
It's been a great show. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you.